Welcome to DYOPATH Connections. I'm Bill Borbas, and today my guest is Omar Sandoval, Director of Information Technology at Naperville Park District. Omar, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
I am very excited to be talking about some of the innovative things you've been doing. But before we get into it, talk about your role in and what you do at Naperville Park District. Obviously, you're the Director of Information Technology, but maybe talk a little bit more specifically about your role at the Park District.
Absolutely. So traditionally, I think that one would think, oh, Park District, like what is there really there technology-wise? Um, there's a lot. We have our own park police department, so we manage and support their laptops, their connectivity to the CAD system that hangs off the city. We have a good partnership there. Multiple camera systems, point of sale. Um, we have technologies such as, you show up to our recreation center, you show your membership card, it gets scanned, it shows that it's valid, goes to the computer, goes back to the database, comes back and pops open the door, right? So, we on top of that, we have two golf courses, we have point of sale operations there as well. We do have a smaller but still food and beverage operation that's directed directly on the Riverwalk Cafe. We just went live with a different system there. The Centennial Beach, which is our aquatics facility, just opened, also has not just the aspect of membership verification, but also the aspect of its own food and beverage operations as well. So that's just a couple of our facilities, a couple of our operations. When you get down to it and you tell someone that, we have our own fuel pumps with our own fuel system management, it makes them think like, oh, that was something that I didn't necessarily assume would be something that you would have to manage. So, it is it's definitely a place where you learn a lot and everything is different one day to another. One day you could be working on a solar panel system with a contractor at one of our parks, or unlocking someone, or on the phone with support with DYOPATH, a little name drop there. Working on a network issue, whatever it may be. That's kind of what we like here. One thing that I am seeing personally is that the mindset that we have as IT professionals is starting to shift more from, your break fix people to not necessarily innovation, but more business acumen and business operations coupled with technology. So what I mean by that is that kind of melding of the two. I just made that word up. I think it is a word, but not probably in the way I just used it. But the melding of the two worlds, technology and business.
I had no idea on how eclectic the amount of devices that and technologies and solutions, everything from solar panels to helping law enforcement. So, I mean, you really do have to know not just business acumen, but even maybe specific to those functional groups, right? And things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not even getting into access control there, right there. But that's just a small screen grab of what we do and what we manage on a day-to-day basis.
Tell me about the community that the Park District serves.
Oh, there's it's a very large community. We're very lucky to work in this community and service this community, because their understanding of some of the changes that have to occur. But also, we're very blessed that it's so diverse. You have, a large senior population. We have a large youth population. We are one of the largest partners of WDSRA, which is the Western DuPage Special Recreations Association. Um, we've been chosen in the past to host things like the World Special Needs bocce tournaments, and things of that nature. So, um, I always tell people my favorite building is one that is across the street from this one, and the second floor is full of seniors, and we have a senior like little hangout area where there's a TV, some computers, a pool table, and a a table tennis table, and then on the bottom floor you have a playground, like four preschool rooms, and a dance studio. And that's, like one of my favorite buildings to walk into just because it's so diverse. And then actually on the second floor, we also have an ecumenical care partnership with another local organization. So, some seniors may receive medical care. And then we also have Meals on Wheels, who we partner with, who come into that same building for seniors. So, one small example of one building kind of gives you a good idea of just the diversity that we have to go into, and that's without even bringing creed or anything into it, because we do have also a very diverse community when it comes to creed and race.
No, obviously we're in the midst of a pandemic, actually coming on the tail end, thankfully, but it's obviously brought a lot of change. And I wanted to have you talk about what has Naperville Park District done to continue its mission to provide recreation and park experiences that promote healthy lives, healthy minds, and a healthy community in the midst of everything that's been going on, and for a wide range of uh, people that you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's pushed the concept of technology as a whole, as a service. So meaning, fitness classes at home, different. We even did preschool videos for parents at home to help them facilitate, having to partake in that great experience of having your kids at home and having to do that. We also started doing, obviously a lot of virtual programming, but we also started doing esports leagues, which was something we've never done before. And the whole concept behind this is that, just like our mission, it focuses on the entire individual, not just necessarily the recreation aspect of it. One thing that's easy to kind of, I guess, to push to the side is that if you're a recce through and through, which I am, I started at the Oswego Land Park District, sorry, when I was about 14, 15. And then, as I progressed, I was the guy that was sitting on a gator, making sure games started on time. And then, and then after college, I started here. But, from that aspect, you think just, okay, it's soccer, baseball, basketball, those kinds of things. Um, what this it forced us to be nimble, but it also forced us. I don't want to say innovate because that's not really what happened. What happened is that we adapted to what was in front of us. How can we still service our residents? How can we still service the people that need us? A lot of that we initially started for free, knowing that there's so many places that were closing down. Our first esports league was about 80 something people, and we were able to offer it for free with the partnership that we had with the company we signed up with, GG Leagues. But that's just an example of really seeing the big picture in front of us. But what I think when I take a step back and look at what we're coming out of, I think this has been the great equalizer and kind of like the history of our current times, meaning that now we have the level we had and we'll still have a level playing field with people who were traditionally um, not that good at sports. Perhaps people that, I mean, talk about social equity. This is a scenario where someone who could maybe potentially not necessarily afford the traditional aspects of recreation. It's great. We have programs like our fee assistance program, which continues to grow year after year after year. And that helps, families sign up for things, but then there's those little gotchas like, hey, now they have to go out and buy shoes, they have to go out and buy the uniform, or they have to find transportation to and from, which not everyone has that opportunity. So, back to my little from my little explanation here, is that it's been the great equalizer because I feel like it put everyone on a level playing field, and made things a little more accessible that maybe in the past weren't. And it's not just for, from a income aspect, but from a, mobility aspect. Now you have the ability to present, Zumba for seniors, where someone's not necessarily maybe able to make it out to one of our facilities. And we plan on continuing that. Obviously, the numbers will dictate whether that's feasible or not, but that's an example of I don't call it. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't feel right calling it innovation, because that's not it. It's not what it is. It's the opportunity to adapt to what's going on.
Now, one of the things you said earlier, and I think it really worked well. You mentioned how you had to meld business with technology, or business acumen with technology. How important was it as in this existing environment, right? Because the technology is supporting the programming, but how early, I guess, in the game, and what influence has your department had on, I guess, programming, and what influence has had is the business acumen? How does that help support all of this?
Um, we sat on in a meeting probably the day after Governor Pritzker, assigned those phases and all that stuff, and we were just generating ideas, saying, "Hey, we can do this, we can try that," and we're lucky that in this organization, it's hey, you're willing to take this on, try it, give it a try. The worst thing is that we can try and we failed. We'll still learn something from it. Obviously, not nothing that is meant to fail from the beginning. But for example, I brought up the idea about looking into esports, and I was told, awesome, run with it, make it happen. When it comes to any of the financial impacts or social impacts of it, then bring us in. Until then, run with it. Go do your thing. You're the one in charge of the technology. We trust you, so go do your thing. And I know that that's not the case in a lot of organizations, but we've worked really hard here again to say, we're not the break fix people, and we are, but that's not the only thing that we are. So showing the value that technology brings to an organization is something you have to build upon year after year, opportunity after opportunity. We came up with our department core values and our mission statement. And our mission statement is, it's our job to make sure that others can do theirs. And that has a large meaning with us, because if we're not doing that, then we have we might as well just go deal with just tickets and just that.
So you mentioned this transition, this pivot from being viewed as the break fix, to the your job being, your job is to make sure others can do theirs, and then you develop this trust over time. How does, I guess, what steps did you take, and what advice could you potentially give other park districts or organizations in general who are looking to potentially rebrand from being looked at, one, I guess, silo break fix to something more strategic?
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of
Mhm.
listening. It takes a lot of probing questions. It's really just all about, the cliche about getting that seat at the table. How do you make sure that it's not? I think the misconception is that in the past, because technology was viewed as a silo, the concept was, oh well, we can't buy these cameras because IT is going to say no, and that's really not the environment you want to foster, obviously, right? The question should be, hey, you're looking to get cameras. What are the deliverables of those cameras? What is it that you really want these things to do? Or taking a step back and asking them, like, what are other people in your type of departments using? You know, what are putting some of the ownership on the departments that are asking these things from you to make sure that you really are doing your due diligence of not just saying, nope, you want cameras, it's not going to happen. It's, hey, okay, you're looking into cameras. What's the purpose of them? And when you hear that conversation out, you'd be surprised to where maybe you can even help them find something even better than they originally thought, because their mindset is just like, oh well, we need cameras to do these inspections. Okay, great. Do we need any type of thermal imaging? Do we need those types of aspects to make it even a better investment over time, rather than just it's taking pictures? So very high level example, but those are the kind of things where, we need to ask the right questions and word them properly, not just, I learned this lesson a long time ago from of someone I respect, and he was actually my career coach for a while. And I asked him, I would say, hey, I'm having issues getting productive feedback, and so he asked me, he said, so how are you asking for it? Well, of course I'm saying, hey, how am I doing? How are things? And then he's like, that's the problem. You're already creating an easy out. What you should be asking is, hey, if there's two things I could do better, what would they be? And that's such a different conversation than just, how am I doing? Oh, you're doing fine. Versus, I'm putting the ownership on you to help me be a better person, better employee, better asset to the organization. How do you get to that level? And I hate to say it starts with asking the right questions. So back to your original question, like what would my advice be? I would say you have to be really in tune as to what the mission and your core values are for your organization, to make sure that when projects come up, you are meeting those, even down to the project level. Are you meeting your mission? Are you in line with your core values? And then are you helping the organization improve in one way or another from those smaller projects? And that's how you build trust. And then that's how you get invited to the bigger meetings of, hey, we're looking to do this renovation of a building. Oh, we should probably bring in IT for, low voltage, keyless entry, camera systems. Where are the voltage drops going to be? Should we have one or two cables? Should we have four, because it costs just as much? Just little things like that. I have found personally, at least here, have made a big difference. And maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm just, dreaming or something, but that's really helped us here.
So last question, what advice could you give to park districts or organizations in general on reinvention in times of change, or adapting in times of change?
Asking the right questions and listening. It's never a bad idea to reach out to the community and say, hey, what is it that you want to see from us? A lot of times, the special interest groups that come to you, they might seem to you initially as a special interest, but they might also have something very valuable to say. So it's really having that conversation with the community. You never know. A lot of times your largest critics will become your biggest advocates when you've really listened to them and worked with them. So it's always easy to dismiss, the squeaky wheel. But if you don't address that squeaky wheel, pretty soon you're going to have two or three, and that cart's not going to drive very easily. So I would say, listening and asking the right questions in the right manner.
Excellent. Omar, I've really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And thank you to our listeners and viewers. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and comment. You can also follow DYOPATH on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And of course, dyopath.com. Thank you.